So Julius Malema has just delivered a powerful speech during his visit in Botswana. A lot of issues have been said, and in this video we want to analyze one by one. In fact, if you don't know, Julius Malema had previously been banned from entering Botswana. But during this tenure, the tenure of the current president of Botswana, that is President Duma Boko, Julius Malema has been allowed to enter Botswana. Now, let's have a look at the speech. Then when we come back, we can analyze the video further.
Refuse to align with those who align with our oppressor. We will never align with the Democratic Alliance. We will never align with Freedom Front. That killed our people. And therefore, any alliance with the two is a sold-out position that seeks to undermine the progressive agenda that our people were killed for, that our people were exiled for, that our people stayed in Botswana fighting for that particular democracy. I would rather be on the streets of South Africa than to dine with the enemy. I will never dine with the enemy. I would rather die poor than to dine with the enemy. I will never dine with the enemy. I will always ensure that the views of our people are aligned. Comrade President, America will never be our friend. Even if it donates planes to us, we must never get planes that were used to kill children in Palestine and the planes that were used to oppress the people of Cuba. Those planes of America are wrapped with blood of innocent people. America doesn't like us. America will never like us. We are divided. We are poor. We are what we are because of the imperialist America. And for one moment, we must never sleep and think that America will one day become our friend. Comrades, we know our friends. Our friend is China. Our friend is Russia. Our friend is Iran. Our friend is Cuba. Our friend is those mothers and children who are being butchered in Palestine. You cannot say you are enjoying freedom here in Botswana when the people of Palestine do not enjoy freedom. When your fellow president of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro, and his wife are still illegally detained in America because America wants the oil of Venezuela. Today, for more than 60 years, the people of Cuba have been starved by an embargo imposed on them by America. Not because they killed anyone, but because they subscribe to ideas that America doesn't like. And therefore, if we have a choice to choose between Cuba and America, we'll always choose the people of Cuba. President, there is no xenophobia in South Africa. It's a few groups of thugs who think they can run our country and make Africa divided. We do not subscribe to xenophobia. We will never hate Botswana because we are married to each other.
So permit me to say this. One of the most pernicious colonizers ever is the French. Simple. The pernicious colonizers Africa has ever had is the French. But lucky enough, the French, their influence in Africa is slowly diminishing. Why? Because in one way or another, Africa is waking up. Africa knows what is right and what is not right. Take a look at what is happening in the Sahel region. And when I talk about the Sahel region, I'm talking about Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali. These countries come together, chase away the French influence in those regions, and embrace another country which they think is of importance to their region. And for this case, you can hear that Malema is talking about Russia, he's talking about China, he's talking about Iran. Now, with Russia, Russia has massive influence in the Sahel region. Majorly because with the Sahel region, they are almost getting everything they want from the Russian government. And Russia, as a government, is very free because they are sharing even their technology with the Sahel region, something that other Western countries cannot do. Russia and the Sahel region, they are cooperating in trade. In fact, I read somewhere that when Russia is cooperating in matters trade with the Sahel region, they are cooperating on terms set by the Sahel region. Something that the West and the Western governments cannot do. Because I've just spoken about the French and their influence in the western part of Africa. During their influence, the region was very poor. During their influence, the region had so much insecurity. During their influence, people were dying in poverty and the economy was not booming. But go to the western part of Africa right now. And particularly, let me use Burkina Faso for example. Since the current president took office, assumed office in 2022, just look at massive developments that are happening in Burkina Faso. Massive development on an industrial scale, actually. And one amazing thing about this development is most of the money that they are using from the national kitty. This kitty, we call it Faso Mebo Initiative, where Africans of goodwill come together, contribute to the national kitty, and the money that is contributed is used for national development. 90% of the money that is used in Burkina Faso for development is never borrowed money. So in a span of 4 years, we can see change happening in Burkina Faso. We can see change happening in the Sahel region. Why? Because they are trying to relate with countries whom they share ideas with, countries whom they are attracted to. Okay? Now, let's go back to the Western governments. Because if you look keenly, take a geographical look. Congo, for example, the DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo, conflicts everywhere. Conflict. One of the richest countries in the world in terms of minerals, ironically, is one of the poorest countries in the world. Why? Because of so many influences coming together to make sure that the country is not seeing its potential. And most of these influences, they are coming from the West. They're coming from the West. Because I believe if the DRC was trading equally with the West, then the DRC will be catapulted to another level as far as development is concerned. But they're not trading on a bilateral talk or a bilateral agreement. No. That's why we have conflict in the Democratic Republic of Congo. So these are some of the points that Malema is speaking, and these are some of the points that Africans should hear. Okay? We don't need to hate each other. Africa must be great. When we divide, we become weak. In unity, there is strength. That is the main point that Julius Malema is talking about. And I can't agree with him more. It is time for we as Africans to unite and to catapult this continent to another level as far as development is concerned for the benefit of generations now, generations to be born, and generations to be born in the future. We must be great. We must trade amongst ourselves equally. We must remove the so-called tariff and non-tariff barriers which is hindering development, hindering trade. And Africa has never run short of ideas. Take you back in the 1970s, 80s, 90s. We had so much plan for this continent. Talk about the Lagos Plan of Action. Okay? Something that was amazing but never materialized. talk about Africa Continental Free Trade Area, something that was amazing but never materialized. Now, in the 2026, we are talking about Africa Agenda 2063. Something that if we are not careful, then the agendas will never be fulfilled, because history itself speaks louder. The two treaties that we had in Africa, they never materialized. This one is the third one. Why? Because we have leaders who are self-centered, leaders who don't think about the future, leaders who don't think Africa. Very corrupt leaders. So, ladies and gentlemen, Africa will be great. Africa must be great. It will be great from the north, the south, the west, and the east. At the end of the day, we will realize our potential. So if it's your first time here, like the video, share it with your friend, and see you next time. Bye-bye for now.